Welcome to the Grand Potential Podcast. Oh, are you in for a treat today? We are so excited about our speaker today. She is going to be presenting to the Grand Connection community in just a few months, and she's been highly recommended, and she is a world-renowned international speaker and author, and she has her own podcast too. And I'd like to introduce you to Natalie Plamondon Thomas. Natalie is the expert with a proven system to get transformational results. She works with entrepreneurs who really want to find the confidence and clarity to make more money and living from their true passion. She is the #1 best-selling author of 15 books on success, on communication, on wellness, as well as empowerment. And she is the founder and CEO of Think Yourself Academy. She offers keynotes, workshops, and leading edge online courses that laser focus business strategy and one-on-one transformational coaching. Natalie, we are so excited you're here, and you just really exemplify the core values of what the Grand Potential Podcast stands for, and our community, virtual networking community, the Grand Connection. And I'd like to just start with welcoming you and asking you, how did you become so purposeful and passionate about this area of expertise that you live by?
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Suzanne, I'm super excited to be with you this morning. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be grand, right? It's the Grand Potential Podcast. So let's talk about grand potential. Oh my gosh, my grand potential was not so grand when I started. I have to tell you, see, I had this negative self-talk, right? And I know that it happens to a lot of people, but we don't walk around talking to our friends like that. Like, you don't tell your friends, oh, you look so fat in these jeans. Or, hey, you're starting your own business. Oh, it's never going to work. You're not good enough. Like, we don't say that. We don't talk with our outside voice like this to other people, but we trash talk ourselves all the time. Like, we wouldn't have any friends if we talk to them the same way that we talk to ourselves. So that happened to me. I remember when I was starting speaking, I needed a video done. So I hired a videographer. We had 3 cameras, one for the wide angle, one for the close-up, and one from the back to see the large audience, right? So that was cool, but there was only 20 people in the room. So we kept asking them to move from one section to the other. So then when we would put all the segment together, it would look like there was a large audience, and it worked. It got me a speaking engagement. So I got a call from an organization. They wanted me to train their sales force on confidence, and they asked for my rate. I didn't have a corporate rate. So I go, 250? Like, I have no idea. And they said, okay, so for the 4-hour training, there would be 1,000. I almost passed out, right? Because I meant 250 for the whole thing. So I got the contract, and I should have been excited, but I remember sitting in my office that day feeling like a fraud. I was hearing this voice in my head telling me, you're not a real professional speaker. You don't deserve a $1,000 paycheck for the afternoon. See, the video I had made, making the audience look bigger than it really was, and my made-up corporate rate, none of it was real. I was just trying to look more than I really was, because that voice in my head was telling me, what? You want to be a professional speaker like in English? You don't even speak English. I'm French, right? You want to write books in English? It's never going to work. You're not good enough. And actually, the voice was kind of right, because my English was really bad. I remember I was teaching yoga back then. And then at the end, during the relaxation, you know, when you want everybody to relax, I wanted them to relax their body, their face, their jaw. And I wanted them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth. And I said, relax, everybody, relax your face and put your thumb behind your tits. And then everybody started to laugh. I didn't know why. Apparently, I was not pronouncing the word teeth very well, whatever. The voice was kind of right, but I realized back then that I needed to do something about this voice. And I realized that I was not the only one, because 85% of people do lack self-confidence in at least one area of their life. 77% of our thoughts are negative. And that's when I realized I needed to study the brain. I needed to shut down this voice inside my head. And that's when I decided to study neuroscience. I created a system to reprogram our brain. And that's the system that I shared in my 8 international #1 best-selling books, the system I shared with my one-on-one clients, and the system I share on stages around the world and all my online courses. So that's how it all really started for me. I realized that, oh my gosh, we have to stop this trash talking. That's not making any sense.
I absolutely agree. Natalie, you are supporting entrepreneurs around the world to change the way that they think about where they are and who they are. Now, I am curious now if you could connect us with, how has this become your calling? Because I can feel it. Like you have so much passion about this. And what did you discover once you shifted and changed that negative self-talk to be the way it needs to be?
Well, it makes a huge difference because imposter syndrome, for example, is connected to the way we talk to ourselves. What I discovered is that there was something a lot more powerful than my own words back there inside, is that it's not enough to learn skills and to do courses. What we need is really to work in all the layers of the brain that need to be addressed. And the importance of mindset is the whole difference. That I discovered studying the work of Robert Dilts, created the DNA system that I juxtapose over the 6 layers of the brain. So the environment, the behaviors, and the skills are the things that we normally work on. We work in our environment. We make sure that our workspace is there. We surround ourselves with positive people. We network. This is all the environment. And for people who want to be healthy, you make sure that you don't have junk food in your house. That's environment. And then you equip yourself with exercise clothes, and that's environment. You register to some courses, and the behaviors that you do are the things that you do in order to become more positive and to change your mindset. And you become good at it, so they become skills. It's not just a behavior like brushing your teeth, driving, eating. And let's remember that exercise and nutrition is also in this, because a lot of people have these behaviors, because when you exercise, you eat well, you also are more productive and more performant. So then you work on your skills. And when you do what you're good at and you're using your skills, you're usually happier than when you're doing stuff that you're not good at, right? So we work on taking behaviors, bringing them to skills, and most people stop there. They work on their environment, their behavior, and their skills, and environment and behaviors and skills. They forget that there's 3 more layers. Next, we go to beliefs and value, which is level number 4, which is also including our limiting belief, right? Things like making money is hard, or when you make more money, you always spend more, so you always live paycheck to paycheck. Or for people who are trying to get in shape, they say, oh, well, when you lose weight, you always gain it back. Or we cannot trust our coworker because they've been backstabbed in their previous job. Or like there's lots of things, that limiting beliefs that get created. Then we get to identity. That's level number 5. The identity is everything that follows the word I am. And if somebody says, I am not good enough, or I am overweight, or I am lazy, or whatever they say after the word I am, if they have an identity problem, they cannot fix it with an environmental solution, buying designer shoes or buying an expensive purse or a Tesla. You can't fix an identity problem with an environmental solution. Or if they say, I am fat, every day they look at themselves in the mirror, they can't fix that with a behavior, with exercise and nutrition. They need to fix the problem where it belongs. And once you've aligned the first 5 layers, that you're in an environment that supports you, you do things that you're good at, that becomes skills, and your beliefs are supporting you, and you do your value, what's important to you, then I am becomes I am awesome. I love myself. And once you love yourself, that's when you can reach level 6, which is life purpose, which is no longer about yourself. It's your why. It's why are you here? Who else are you serving? And how can anybody else benefit from this? So it becomes way beyond yourself, and then you can be happy. Happiness happens at level 6, but we need to align everything first. So that's how you were asking what shifted and how does that make a difference. Is once you work through the DNA system, and I can tell you a little bit more about this later. That's what you get purpose, you get being happy, you get supportive beliefs, you are aligned with everything, you do what you're good at, and you love yourself and you can make others benefit from all of that.
And you love what you do. And
You love what you do.
Honestly, what you just explained is so in alignment with what the Grand Connection and the Grand Potential is about, because we are a community to support people to take those levels of that DNA system together, not alone. And I just love all of that. And without dealing with those limiting beliefs and just working on your environment, it doesn't change anything long term. I agree.
No.
And so your vision of your business, I'm just curious, what is your vision because you are serving corporations, businesses, entrepreneurs around the world right now. So what is your position to serve in the future? I'm just curious. I'd love to know.
So I have been, and when we talk about vision, we talk about purpose, we talk about my promise statement, what I'm bringing into the table. And very often, when we're talking entrepreneurs, my promise statement is I help entrepreneurs finding their full confidence so that they can make money living from their passion. Because so many years I was keeping my full-time job because I was building my business on the side, because the voice in my head was telling me, you're never going to make it on your own and you're not good enough. And then I didn't want to sell my services because I thought it would make me feel pushy, and like all the negative self-talk that you have as an entrepreneur. And I realized that money was actually a good thing in life. When you give money to good people, they do great things with it. I started volunteering a long time ago with children in Haiti, and let me tell you, I have been criticized for my promise statement. Some people have said, "What, your whole mission in life is for people to make money? How shallow." Well, like these children in Haiti, they understand that it's not enough. It's all about the happiness that you get with simple things. Even Yuri, one of my sponsored child, his mom left him at the orphanage because she was not able to feed him. So she decided it was better for them to live apart than make him starve. So Yuri, with my $30 per month, gets a bed sheet, a toothbrush, a uniform for school, and he gets one meal a day at the orphanage and then another meal at school, all with $30. So at the end of the day, $30 is a lot of money for them, and money can be a good thing. Now I calculate everything in children. If I want a pair of boots that is $90, it's 3 children, you know? So when you give money to good people, they do great things with it. And if you close your eyes for a second, unless you're driving, if you're listening to this podcast as you're driving, keep your eyes open and your eyes on the road. But close your eyes for a second and think of somebody that you've helped. Think of somebody that you made a big difference for them in their life. And now pretend that I'm putting $5 million in your bank account. How much more can you help them? Like, you have a gift. You have this thing that you do that you're really good at. And making money is important in any business. If you're not making any money, you're not profitable and your business is going to close. So for me, it goes a lot beyond the money itself. It's the confidence that it brings. It's knowing that people will pay for what you have, because what you're doing is important for them. That it's not about how can I make money, it's about how can I serve? What do I have? How can I uplift others? And what do I have that can benefit other people? And it all starts with the way we talk to ourselves.
Oh, I love it, because, money, I always say, is a circle of energy, that when we serve other people with the gifts and talents and expertise we have, we receive, but then we can help more people. It's exactly what you're saying, Natalie. We call it grand giving at the Grand Connection. And honestly, everything that Natalie just shared with us, what we connected with, all these truths are important to take in, to think about. And I really want everybody to go see Natalie's website. She has many videos. She has her own podcast called Think Yourself Podcast. Think Yourself.
Make yourself confident. Yeah.
So I just really want people to just pause for a minute and understand that this is the truth about what is. And, if we want to create more abundance for ourselves and others, it really is about serving. So thank you, Natalie. I'm going to pass it to Susan, and she's going to go through our second core value at the Grand Connection, which is create.
Well, your discussion on the receiving money for the value you create and giving back is a lot about creating, because we're creating abundance for ourselves, but we're creating abundance for the people we serve as well. And I love how you talk about this as a circle of energy, Carolyn. It just fits so nicely. I myself, in my past, I spent a lot of time in India and in my youth, and I met Mother Teresa even, and I had a mindset about money, that money was evil. I didn't feel that I should be receiving it, and it held me back for many years. And it was that shift in that self-talk that I had about it from my past experiences. And now that I'm receiving more value in my life, I'm able to give back so much more. It's just, and that's why, Carolyn, you and I started the Grand Connection, because we want to be able to provide an opportunity for everybody to learn those skills and to move through, your DNA system, similar, to be able to get that confidence, learn the skills they need, and then to be able to become more, what is it at the top? You become more actualized in your business and yourself, and then of course, be able to have a bigger impact in the world. So I'm super thrilled, Natalie. I love that you combine both mindset and the practical, the strategy part of business too. Because, Carolyn, this is my section where I start getting into strategy and practical stuff and tactics. And I remember I was listening to some podcasts recently, and Tony Robbins was being interviewed. He said 80% is mindset and 20% is strategy. So this lower level, building that confidence, is so powerful. And, can you just share a few words on your thoughts about the mindset strategy ratio? I know this is kind of just coming up, but I just wanted to hear what you thought about it.
It's interesting how Tony was talking about the 80-20. And by the way, it is, it has evolved a lot, the mindset. It's not something that was super popular 20 years ago when I started speaking on confidence, right? It wasn't that popular, let's say, or that it was not a topic that everybody wanted to hire me for. And now it's the number one thing. Even Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank just contacted me to write a chapter in his next book on mindset and confidence. And our book is endorsed by Tony Robbins. So highly successful people in the big leagues have understood that mindset is everything. It's the key. And you ask me about the ratio. I would like to say that if you don't have the mindset, there's no skill that can help you. So I don't want to say that it's 99% and 1% skill. I'm just saying that everybody can learn a skill. We all learned how to walk. We all learn how to tie our shoes. Skills that they come easy. However, you need to have the will to do something. So I like the 80-20. I just think that it could even be higher on the mindset. Because if I'll give you the example of how the brain works. Learning a skill can be done at a logical level. So there's two different pieces, right? So your logical brain can handle 5 to 9 things at a time. That's cool. You can multitask, right? So that's why you can go grocery shopping, and at the same time you can be on a meeting on your AirPods, right? At the same time you keep your kid from falling off the cart with one hand, and you grab a can of soup on special with the other hand, and you notice the guy at the back that's winking at the girl in blue in the seafood department. You do all that at the same time. That's cool. So we can learn skills that way, and we multitask all the time. But 5 to 9 things gets overwhelmed very quickly. Have you ever noticed, let's say you're driving to a new address, music is on, it's a beautiful day, windows are down, and as you get closer to the address, you start looking at the numbers on the houses. Have you ever caught yourself having to lower the volume on the radio? Yeah, right? Because interestingly enough, right? Why do you have to lower the volume so that you can see the numbers better? Like, how is that connected?
Or tell your kids to be quiet, when I remember long ago when they were noisy in the back seat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have the foot on the brake, the foot on the accelerator, the red light ahead, the kid that's about to cross the street, the lady that might cut you off. And then there's a dude in the car next to you winking at you, gross. So when you add looking at the numbers on the houses, the music becomes the one too many. 5 to 9 pieces of information is not that great after all. So when you're living at a logical level, you're always just trying to catch up. You work really, really hard. And let's say you have your goal and you have your mission. You want to build a successful business. So you would get up super early. You start at 5 a.m. You do your meditation. You accept clients until midnight, right? And you still have to take your kids to school and sport in between your meetings. Oh, and you have to start a podcast. You need to post on social media. Oh, and you need to record an online course too. And the harder you work, the more exhausted you feel. So at night you come home and now you have to take care of the kids and the bath and the homework and everything. And when finally you have time to maybe do your own exercise or take care of yourself, well, you're exhausted, and Netflix with a bottle of wine seems a lot more appealing, and you feel like you're getting farther and farther away from your dream life. I've been there. I was working 90 hours a week. It was insane. I was making money all right, but I was like, is that it? That's my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. I'm exhausted. I can never spend time with the kids or with my spouse. I have zero life balance and I'm hating it. Is that it? I could see my friends going on holidays and I'd be like, how are they doing this? I can't even take a day off, right? So the living at a logical level, you're just always trying to catch up. It's like you're wanting to go to New York City, but you're in an aircraft that's flying to Los Angeles, or you try to go to Vancouver, but you're in an aircraft that's flying to Halifax. It's never going to work. So people are asking me, how do I get off that aircraft?
Yeah, well, that's what might be my next question now.
Okay. How do I get off that aircraft? Well, I say no, stay on the aircraft, talk to the pilot and say, hey, bud, do you mind turning around? That's where I want to go. Imagine how much faster you're going to get there once the pilot is on board. Because you can work as hard as you possibly can, but the airplane is so much more powerful and fast that you're never going to get there unless you talk to the pilot. That's the other part of the brain that I'm really excited about. The unconscious mind, that's your pilot. And I call it your personal assistant in your hand, writing down everything that you say or think and makes it happen. Because your personal assistant, your pilot, your unconscious mind can process 2.3 million pieces of information every second. The logical mind, 5 to 9. The unconscious mind, 2.3 million pieces of information every second. That's where the power is. So the problem is people wake up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror and they say, I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight. So then your personal assistant writes it down. Tired, stressed out, gaining weight. Okay, I got this. Tired. Oh, I know I'm going to keep her awake all night. She's going to be really tired in the morning. Check. Stressed out. Oh, I know. I'm going to delete a super important appointment in our calendar. Ooh, that's going to be stressful. Check. Gaining weight. Oh, I know. I can certainly find a chocolate bar or something deep fried for her to eat today. Check. So your personal assistant is constantly listening to everything you say or think, and it makes it happen. So whatever it is that you repeat all the time, you have to be very careful, because your personal assistant is constantly listening. So it's very, very important that this 2.3 million pieces of information every second, the most powerful and complex structure of the universe, that you program it right, because it's going to make it happen.
Okay, so how do we reprogram it then?
Right?
Like you said chocolate, and then I had a whole bunch of self-talk going, you're on your fast still. You can't have any chocolate till noon.
There you go. So the DNA system, how do we reprogram the 6 layers of the brain that I mentioned here? So I'll talk about the DNA system as the analogy of a kitchen renovation. Let's say you're doing a renovation. The very first step you're going to do is you're going to make a folder with samples. Okay. So you're going to say, I want these cupboards, this countertop. I want to have this backsplash, this hardwood floor, the paint chip. You're going to put all that in that folder. That's your D of the DNA system. That's your desire. What do you want? And you've done that before. You write your goal, right? You write your objectives, SMART goals, right? Or vision board. You've heard of vision boards, right? So that's the first step. And it's very important. You need to know what you want. It starts with knowing what you want, right? And sometimes people don't even know that. They don't really know. They haven't really established that. Everybody, I'm not going to spend so much time in here in the D, because everybody knows how to do that. The problem is, they stop there. Like if a vision board worked and you just had to look at it and it was the end of it, you have to make your vision board and it's going to happen, then everybody would be living on deserted islands, sipping martinis with Mercedes Benz. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of it all. You cannot eat in a folder full of samples. It's not a kitchen, right? You can't invite people in this folder. It's not a kitchen. So what people do is you take these goals, they take these SMART goals and this vision board, and now they try to implement things into their life. They're trying to actualize it. This is the A of the DNA system. That is step 3. Step 3 is to take the things that you want and implement them in your own life. Okay. The problem is, it's not going to work. You cannot. And that's what everybody's teaching, is how to create a good habit and how to implement good things in your life and blah, blah, blah. But you cannot put the cupboards over top of the existing cupboards in your kitchen. You cannot put the island over top of the existing island. It's not going to work. You need step 2 first. You need to gut out the old kitchen, the N for new you. You need to remove all the crap. You need to get rid of the negative self-talk, anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt, procrastination, imposter syndrome. You need to get rid of the bad habit. You need to get rid of the limiting beliefs. You need to get rid of all the crap before you can actualize and install your new kitchen. That second step, that's what I do. I help people get rid of all the stuff that is no longer serving them. I have specific processes where we get rid of all that negative self-talk, all the stuff that's on the personal assistance list that is saying, I'm so stressed out, I'm gaining weight, I'm not good enough, and all the things that is on the list. We need to rewrite this list in order to really work through those 6 layers. And we work on every single layer through the DNA system, the desire, the new you, and the actualize. And for every single step, we know what we want. We get rid of the stuff we don't need anymore. And we actualize into that new kitchen and the goal that we're aiming towards. Does that make sense?
It totally does. I love the visuals. So people here that are listening in on their podcasts, come to Natalie has some great visuals. We have this up on YouTube as well. So you can go to the Grand Connection YouTube channel under podcasts and you can see it. And also on our website, grandconnection.ca under podcasts as well on the top menu. Just so you know that the visuals, you can see what the DNA pyramid looks like, as well as Natalie I don't know how your brain is doing it so quickly, but she's got visuals flashing in behind her along her talk to give us that visual to help us learn better, because it does. Like, I'm a visual learner and I'm getting this so much more by watching your visuals than when I'm just listening. So I just love the way you've put this together so that we will understand the concepts. It's amazing.
Okay, so this is the truth, people. Honestly, if you want to be successful, these are the elements. It's exactly what Natalie said. I mean, I have vision boards all over my office here, Natalie. You don't even know that. And vision boards have changed my life. But until I worked through that internal mechanisms, that limiting self-talk, those limiting beliefs, and worked through those, is how we create everything in our life. And I'm so thankful right now. I have more energy flowing through my body of enthusiasm right now, because this is the piece that has to be understood in order to be successful. And Susan's and my calling with the Grand Connection and this podcast is to support businesses with business skills. And this is 80% people. So if you've been trying to avoid this or ignore it or think it's not important, I'm just inviting you to open your mind and think again, because this is where the joy factor is. This is where the happiness, this is where the fulfillment, this is where you have this incredible vitality to bring your family, your friendships, and the communities that you serve. So I just got truth bumps. I don't call them goosebumps, but I just know that this is the truth. And, I just thank you, Natalie, for bringing this information to people. It is making a big difference in the world, and it is significant. And I just feel such gratitude right now. So thank you. Go ahead, Susan.
I'll just ask you, like, okay, let's say we got our vision together. We figured, we've done some vision boarding, we've done some planning. Maybe we're working with a coach and we've got this plan out. What would be 3 steps to get us going to start building up the pyramid? Now,
Yeah.
Just 3 takeaways that people can maybe work on today to get started on getting to this goal that they want.
There's a lot of things to do. So if you want to remember the aircraft, if you want to change the address on the GPS, right? Because if you were going towards Halifax and you want to go to Vancouver, in an aircraft or in your car, you change the address on the GPS, right? Push a button, it's easy. In real life, it's a bit more, it takes a little bit more to this process, right? That's what I do. I work with specific processes. I even work with trauma, with deep trauma, with PTSD, with Army vets, with people that have been victim of abuse or accident, or somebody. I've just helped someone who had a snowmobile accident, somebody that had a motorcycling accident, some woman who had been abused, and trauma happens all the time, and they are making us seeing life through blurred glasses. So if you've been backstabbed in a previous job and now you're in a leadership position somewhere else, it will be harder for you to trust your team and your teammates and your colleagues and the other VPs, because somehow you're bringing this experience with you, and we're carrying so much baggage that we need to remove all that. The process in order to get rid of limiting belief, it's an 89-step process. It takes about 5 hours to administer, that's why you're asking me for 3. And I'm like, well, this is an 89-step process. It takes 5 hours. Well, 5 hours is nothing. For people who have had flashbacks and nightmares for years, 5 hours later, it's gone. And it's gone at 93%. It's research science-based process that works at 93%. With even the Veteran Affairs of the United States is now sponsoring the process. It's called the RTM protocol, the Reconsolidation of Traumatic Memories, is sponsoring this for all the Army vets in the United States. So it is a process that works. It is scientifically proven. Now, some of you are listening to this and like, oh my gosh, so that means I'm doomed, like there's nothing I can do. Like I need a 5-hour process or an 89-step process. You don't. So here's the good news. There are things that you can do today, because you said, what is something we can do today, right away?
Yeah, because we're listening now. We got it. We're excited. We want to
get something.
Got our vision.
Let's get something. So I'm going to teach you a 2-step technique. Okay. Not even 3,
Okay.
not even 3, 2. Okay. 2 steps in order to start the process. Okay. So if you want to reprogram a lifetime of limiting belief, we might need to work a little bit more, but this is a great start to start the process. You can start this right away today. So you've probably heard of affirmations, probably, right? Like affirmations are very popular. Now, affirmations don't work if you don't believe them. That's the only problem. Sometimes, and very often, there's way too big of a disconnect between what you're saying and between the reality. And your personal assistant is not listening. When I work, let's say, with the Think Yourself Thin program with clients that are highly overweight, it's not going to work for me to say, okay, look at yourself in the mirror and repeat after me, I am thin. Their brain goes, no, we're not. Or the Think Yourself Wealthy programs. With clients that are in deep financial struggles, I can't say, put your hands on your hips and say, I am rich. Because their brain goes, no, we're not. Like the personal assistant says, what is she talking about? Oh, nonsense. We must be watching a vampire movie. Vampires don't exist. I don't write that down. This is not for me. So here's the 2-step technique. The very first step is you hear something nasty in your head, okay? You hear yourself say, oh, I'm so stressed out all the time. First step is you catch yourself and you say, wait a minute. You put it in the past like this, what I used to. You say, I used to be stressed out all the time. So then your brain hears that. The personal assistant is like, oh, stressed out. I have this on my list right here. You're talking to me. Yeah, what can I do for you? But why are we talking about this in the past? Are we done with this? Do I scratch that off or what? Ah, perfect. So now you go to the second step. The second step is a progressive statement. The progressive statement starts with, I am willing to learn, or I'm in the process of, okay? Oh, I'm so stressed out all the time. Oh, wait, I was on the Grand Connection podcast and I heard this French Canadian girl who could hardly speak English. She was telling us about the personal assistant. And now I just told my personal assistant that I wanted to be stressed out. No, wait a minute. I used to think that I was stressed out all the time. I used to be stressed out all the time. Now I'm willing to learn how to build a balanced life. Now I'm in the process of being more calm. Now I used to say yes to everybody around me. Now I'm willing to learn how to say no. Or I used to think that I was not good enough. Now I'm willing to learn how to trust myself. I used to think I was bad with technology. Now I'm willing to learn, where does I have to click, right? So, and we're not that bad with technology, by the way, right? I've heard that so many times, and I do have 4 different online courses on tech. And people think they're bad with tech, but they went from a rotary phone to a flip phone to a BlackBerry that had a keyboard, and all of a sudden they went to an iPhone, and then there was no more keyboard, and still they could figure out how to find the picture of their dog wearing a bikini because they figure it out. You are really good with technology. The problem is that technology changes all the time. It's very different, right? Technology evolves really, really quickly, and we are really, really good at evolving with it. So we have to say, I used to think I was bad with technology. Now I'm willing to learn how to host my meetings online, or where it is that I have to click with this new app. Now I'm excited about figuring out a way to automate and everything. And it's only with technology that I work 9 months a year now. And remember when I was saying I was exhausted and I was making money, but man, it was so hard. Well, I had to work smarter, and technology allowed me to do that. But I had to get rid of my limiting belief that I was bad with technology. If I wanted to be able to automate my life in such a way that money would keep coming in when I sit in Palm Desert for 2 months during the winter, if I want the money to keep coming in, I need to trust that technology can do some part of it. And I need to trust that I can use technology to my advantage. And marketing, like the Think Yourself for Marketing Pro that I teach, or the Think Yourself for Business Pro, the 10 steps to a successful business. I've made all the mistakes you can't imagine. Like I remember posting on social media, I wanted to sell my first online courses. Do you know how many courses that I sold of my first online courses? Zero. I didn't sell any. Didn't work. I was doing it all wrong. But guess what? I figured it out. And people started hiring me, not even for confidence. They started hiring me to do business mentorship with them because they said, you know, Natalie, I'm confident. I just want you to teach me how to make money because somehow I was good at that. So I was sounding like a broken record, and I kept meeting with these clients, repeating the same thing over and over. Well, first you have to do this, then you have to do that. Here are the 10 steps to a successful business. So here's my 15-step social media strategy. I had videos on Facebook that had 4,000 comments and likes and shares, but that was not money in my bank account. I had to figure that out. How do you transform these social media fans into paying clients? So I created all these courses because after a while, I kept just repeating over and over. People would pay me $300 an hour for me to tell them the same thing over and over. So I thought, why don't I record this? Why don't I record that as an online course? And then people can pay a lot less and just watch this. And then they can hire me for bigger questions after they've heard the basics that I don't have to repeat over and over and over. So you used to think that you hated social media. You used to think that selling was making you feel pushy, because I do have Think Yourself a Sales Pro online course. So you used to think that you were not good at selling your services. Now you're willing to learn how it feels to solve people's problem. We're not selling, we're solving. You have something, all the expertise that you have, you're really good at it. You have the knowledge, the know-how to change people's life. And what you're charging is not near enough for all the value that you're transforming your clients with. So we need to equip ourselves with knowing that, so that we can really start making a difference for others. And in compensation, they give you money, and then your business continues to work, and you can do great stuff with that money after. But start with that. Affirmation is about learning how to reprogram your brain, and it starts with the two steps technique to talk to your personal assistant.
Oh my gosh. Well, we got lots we can work on today, everybody. That is very powerful. And I hear, Carolyn, you doing this now in our meetings, like whenever, because you've gone through that journey of technology since we started the Grand Connection 2 years ago. Carolyn hadn't ever used Zoom before, and now, and whenever someone else gets on now, Carolyn goes right away, no, you're willing to learn this. And she changes them to start thinking, and you see the difference in their face right away when they say those words differently, because you're shifting the way you believe right then. Very powerful, Natalie. I want to just thank you. I know our members are going to just love your talk that's coming up. And we're also going to be doing one of your workshops in the new year too on technology. So we're super thrilled about that too. So you guys, anybody listening here that's saying technology is something you don't do, or I'm no good at, no, you're not, you're going to be you're willing to learn technology and become a pro in technology and be able to use that to give yourself the freedom you want. So Carolyn, I'm passing this back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. And Natalie, how can people get a hold of you? Really, honestly, I'm curious about how they can find out about you, how they can get a hold of you. You are speaking for us in October, but we are super thrilled about that. We know you have a couple of great offers for our members and all attendees, but how can they get a hold of you?
I'm happy to offer the audience today a free virtual coffee. So there's a lot that can happen in 15 minutes. So go to thinkyourself.com/schedule. And then we can just have a first chat and see if there's anything that's been holding you back, that we can switch very quickly. I have all my social media up here, and I think that they will be transcribed in the show notes as well. So I'm Natalie Plamondon-Thomas. My website is thinkyourself.com. And if you go to thinkyourself.com/confidence guide, you can download a confidence guide. I have thinkyourself.com/confidence entrepreneur calendar. So I have created a 30 days social media post suggestions with all the best times to post on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Twitter. So what are the best times to post? And it's 30 days ideas that you can create. So it's thinkyourself.com/entrepreneur calendar. I also have a business guide, thinkyourself.com/business guide, thinkyourself.com/marketing guide, so that you get my 15-step social media strategy, and a confidence guide, of course, thinkyourself.com/confidence guide. So go ahead and download everything that you need. And then we will see you on October 20th. Right? You go to grandconnection.ca to register. I'm super excited. It's going to be a grand event. So thank you so much for inviting me today. And I'm very, very thrilled to continuing that journey with the Grand Connection. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for your incredible generosity to the Grand Connection. All those resources are extraordinary. So people pick them up. Check out all those resource guides, and we look forward to seeing Natalie on October the 20th at the Grand Connection.